In the moment, Delius found himself lost in thought. Since the arrival of these strange orbs, he had had so many questions and tried to imagine these cities that exist on the moons of his world, of being in a place with so many people that you can fail to see an end to them, of grand structures that reach into the skies, and the vast technologies that they spoke of that could do extraordinary things, make life easier. But with the difference in time, he thought it impossible to ever see, not without sacrificing the life that he had. But now, he had been given information that would change it. He could visit these other worlds and still come back home as if nothing had happened. And to his friends and family, it would seem as if he were gone for no time at all. He was still uncertain about how useful he could truly be in this war of theirs. However, if it was truly a danger to his people, then it was his duty as champion of the village to fight on their behalf, to defend them from anything that would bring harm to them. As Delius looked back up to the orb, getting a much more serious expression. Fine. I will see if I can get permission from the elders. I will tell them of what you have spoken, and if they say that it is in the best interest of the village, then I will help you prevent the destruction of this world. Good, the orb replied. Remember, time on your world is passing much slower than it is here. I would like to have this matter settled before I am an old man and no longer able to fulfill the process myself. So, if you would, try to be hasty. Yes, of course, I will take your limited time into account, Delius said, as he began to make his way back towards the grand hut and away from the orb, soon enough finding himself passing through the archways into the tent where the elders were waiting. There, a few of them seemed to be having a meal, talking amongst themselves as Delius approached. Ah, Delius, one of the female elders spoke up. For what have you come to visit us? Or is it just that you enjoy our company? She asked. Well, I of course always enjoy your company, elders, but I am here on important matters of the village. Important matters, you say? So, young man, what are these important things that you need to discuss? From there, Delius began to explain the situation. The claims that they were developing some sort of super weapon that, even if it failed to kill Hagara, would most likely destroy everything on the surface of the world. The danger to their people, and to Hagara, and the cycle of things. And after a great deal of discussion, a decision was finally reached. Because they said that the exterior passage of time would not affect Delius, and he would be able to return in order to fulfill his purpose as protector of the village, they would allow Delius to leave and help these strangers if they could create a way to do so, but that he must return with enough time to fulfill his true duties and ensure the survival of his village. This was of the utmost importance. With a bow, Delius accepted the decision handed down by the elders and left, returning to the orb he was speaking with before to see how long it would take to facilitate this journey to the worlds beyond. As Delius returned, he found the orb he was speaking with had passed into its sleeping state, which he had come to understand meant that it was no longer active for the time being, and that some years might have passed before it wakes again, at least for them. So he waited patiently for its awakening. Not having to wait long, after only a minute or so, the small orb sprang back to life. Delius, you've returned. I'm glad to see that you took my request in earnest, and made it quick. So tell me, what is the decision that has been reached by your elders? The orb asked. According to the elders, Delius responded, I have been given permission to aid you in your conflict. I may travel to your world upon the moon if you can manage it, and am to do whatever is necessary to ensure the safety of my world and my people. However, I am to be returned home before the awakening of Hagara. This is of paramount importance. The survival of my people depends on this. If I do not return, it will mean the end of my village. Everyone that I know and love will die. I am willing to aid you, but not at the cost of everything that I know. You will return me before the awakening. Do you understand? Yes, of course. It's agreed, the orb said. I shall begin the process now. Please, Delius, try to remain still. As I said, this is going to require a great deal of doing. Surmounting the great forces that exist on your world is not an easy job. These pods are simple. We lower them into the atmosphere, as they are repellent to the forces of gravity. Though it's slow going to achieve, it can be done. But what we are attempting now is to tear open a fissure in time and pull you through it, changing your location by bending the fabric of space and time, all while trying to counteract the intense forces that exist on your planet. It is not easy to do, and it would help a great deal if you held still whilst we perform the calculations necessary, the orb said, as a bright light began to emit from the eye, shining on Delius. Calculations commencing. At that point, several of the other orbs that had begun to make their way through the village now left what they were doing, traveling to where Delius and this orb were speaking, as they all began to encircle him. This sudden rush of attention called the other villagers, including Jirara, to the location. Delius, what's going on? I've made an agreement with our visitors. They have a conflict which endangers our people, and have requested my aid. So I'm going to give it to them. I know it doesn't sound possible, but they've assured me that I will not become a victim of time. I will not be affected by it in the same way that they are, and that I will be returned home in the same condition that I left, long before the awakening of Hagara. To you, it won't seem like any time at all has passed, so there shouldn't be a problem. Delius, don't you think this is a bit dangerous? I mean, are you certain? I cannot afford to be certain, Delius replied. Unfortunately, the safety of the village is at stake. It is my duty as your protector to undergo this task. But try not to worry, Jirara. I'll be home soon enough, Delius said, as the other orbs began to shine light on him from all directions. Delius, the orb in front of him said, the one controlled by a somewhat stern gentleman, claiming to be the commander of their military. Listen closely. Once you are transported to our world, outside of your normal rate of time flow, your conscious mind will need to adjust. This may be jarring, confusing, even a bit overwhelming, but you must stay calm. Once you are in our world, we will have you within a stasis field. You will feel as if you are floating. Do not be afraid of this. It will not harm you. It is merely for both your safety as well as ours. Remember, you have to give your mind time to adjust. We will help you with this. Just don't panic. It will all be fine, the orb said, as suddenly Delius was overcome with a somewhat tingly sensation.